Greetings from Wisconsin. We've got some nice weather here this morning. Some thunder and lightning, so we'll see how this goes. I want to give a little introduction to my grad project in this video. I'll make a few small ones here. This one is demonstrating what I talked about in the Word document, something called SignalR. It's a Microsoft technology and used to do channel communications. The main reason I got into this particular technology was when we were working on the chat PHP apps for class, and we were using the set interval for polling the database or file or whatever. It seemed to me that that was inefficient, or a not really good way. I would rather it be more automatic, that somebody somewhere sends something and it automatically triggers the message to show up in our window, in the window that we're talking about. So I'm going to demo this real quick. All right, so I have got a few windows here. Mine's a little different because when I refresh the page, I prompt the user for a name. So I'm going to call this one Client 1, sorry it's a little small. I'm just going to hit OK, and then they're going to say, hey, welcome Client 1. Now this is Client 1, so it's going to say that to me. Okay, but I'm going to pull up another window and refresh, and just a little bit about this one. So I'm going to call this one Client 2 and hit OK. Now watch two things here. First, this is on an Azure domain out on the internet, so this is not running locally. This one over here is running off of XAMPP, so we've got that running locally, and it's a PHP file. Not that it's running PHP, but it's running JavaScript AJAX calls behind the scenes. And this one over here also is doing that, but it's in a default.html page. So I'm going to hit OK, and then we're going to watch the messages. All right, the messages here says, hello, basically, welcome to Client 2, because I am Client 2 in this window. Over here it says Client 2 joined. Well, that's cool. Okay, so I can also pull up another window over here, and if I hit refresh there, I'll put Client number 3. Hit OK, and you'll say welcome Client 3, and it says Client 3 joined, and Client 3 joined to both of the other windows. So that's pretty neat. You're getting different messages in different windows, which is quite interesting. None of this is persisted anywhere. It's just WebSocket communication, which I think is pretty neat. Okay, now that was kind of the first consideration. So I can put messages in here, and this is actually on a third website. This is actually just a monitoring one. This is going to be on this particular one, the API Azure websites, is where the SignalR server stuff actually sits. So I sent a message of sup, and then that popped into the other windows. I could put hiya, and that pops into the other windows and my window, of course. And then something over here, and it'll go for it. So it is a chat session, just standard chat session. You can do it across the board, but that's not what the exciting part about it is as much. Okay, again, it isn't using the set interval, it's using WebSockets, but we can do that. Now I also wanted to, lastly, I wanted to show you another consideration I wanted to do is I wanted it to be not just web-based, not just that platform. And SignalR can do non-web-based things. So what I've got here is this window, shrink this up a little bit, which is a console application. It's written in C# using Microsoft Visual Studio. These guys are not. And I'm just going to put in my name here of client number 4 and hit enter. Now that really didn't do anything because it just says it's connected, but this particular application doesn't send any message back to the channel when it connects. Oops, that's got to work. Okay, but I am going to be able to say hello everyone, and I can hit enter, and it did then pop over to this window and this window and this window. So I'm using a console application, and the nice thing about that, when I'm using a console application as a proof of concept, once I do a console application, I can pretty much do anything I want. So I can do C++, I could do Python, I could do C#, more C#, Windows applications, or gosh, whatever I want to do, MVC, that kind of stuff. So we can do that type of stuff. And then, of course, the messages say, you know, hi, client 4 from the client 3 window, and it'll pop into that window, and it did pop into here. So that's pretty interesting. So that's kind of a demo of what we're going to talk about. In the next couple of videos, we'll talk about, I'll demo the code. Okay? Have a super day.